Hello, friends, and welcome to Pathologic Volume 8, Episode 19. Today marks the final day of my Cypher Zero playthrough. If you haven't been following along, this is a puzzle game with puzzles much like the ones we solve here on the channel, but with the twist that the rules are not given, they have to be induced from the information. And I am wrapping up that playthrough today, so if you've been waiting to see the whole thing all at once, you can do that today. Right here, though, we will be solving one of our more typical puzzles, though it is a little atypical because it is a variant. We are going to be solving a Masyu with a semi-total variant, which is a new one to me, but it looks similar to some other constraints that we've done on other puzzles. So we will walk through that together. If you are unfamiliar with Masyu, it might help to go to some of the previous videos on that topic before you jump in. But either way, we will get you covered as we take a look at the rules. In Masyu, we draw a non-intersecting loop through the centers of some cells that passes through every circle. So you can see the loop in the example right here. It travels only horizontally and vertically, does not need to touch every cell in the grid, but it does need to touch all of the given circles. The loop must turn on black circles and travel straight through the cells on either side. So this black circle here, you can see, stretches north 2 and west 2. And that is the case of all of these. They can't turn again immediately after the dot, although they could go farther than 2. We don't have any examples of that here given, but there's no reason it has to be only 2 cells that they travel. And the loop must go straight through white circles and turn in at least one of the cells on either side. So the straight through part is very clear. The other bit is a little bit, takes a little bit of practice before it becomes intuitive. So this white circle here, the loop goes straight through it. On this side it keeps going, which means on this side it can't keep going. It must turn on at least one of the 2 sides. Here we have an example where it turns on both of the 2 sides. Those are the normal rules of Masyu, and this is a variant with the name semi-total, and this means that all possible black circles have been given. So that's a negative constraint, but only on the black circles. So it's saying there are no other cells in the grid that could legally have a black circle added to them. There may well be cells, in fact, there are many cells in this example that could legally have a white circle added. That's fine. That's the semi, I assume, of the semi-total. So with that in mind, those are the rules of Masyu with the semi-total variant, and it's time to solve a puzzle. Today's Masyu semi-total was set by Jovial. I think we will start by ignoring the variant because it doesn't contradict any of the regular rules, and let's see how far we get with just the regular rules of Masyu. So the circles on the border are always very powerful in Masyu, and whenever we have a black circle on the border or even one away from the border, we know that we can draw a line straight away from the edge, since we know there has to be a turn that continues for 2 cells, and if there's a turn, there is a horizontal segment here, and it can't go left. So we can repeat that all the way around the perimeter for all of these. In addition, these 2 black circles are right next to each other, and that pattern forces them to turn away from each other because there's not enough room for them to get their 2 cells they require. So these will all turn away. We got white circles on the border. Those are determined because they can't go perpendicular to the border. So all of those are given. In some cases, we also know where they have to turn. This circle doesn't have a turn on this side, so it must have one on this side. And we repeat that logic around the grid in all of those places. We have a black circle that can't go north anymore because it would hit this path right there. So it does go south. We've got this corner that has to have a turn. No, it's not. We don't have to use every circle in the grid, so we can't just do all the corners. But here, we knew we were going into the corner, so we have to go out again. And so this actually has to continue like that to link up. And let's see, we've got a line entering a circle that has to keep on going through it in both of those cases. This will have to turn. This will also have to turn because it doesn't have a turn on the other side. Up here we don't go left, so we go right and then down. And this could turn left or right. That's fine. And this can't turn right. It's got to turn left. Can't turn down. It's got to turn up. Can't turn left. It's got to turn right. That all kind of flows together like that. And so those were the things that jumped out at me. There may be more things we can do with pure Masyu here, but I think this is probably a good time for us to start thinking about the implications of the negative constraint. So I think what we want to look for are places where we have nearly the arrangement that a black dot requires. So I see one right up here. We've got 2 cells, more than 2, that are straight, and then a turn. And if that turn goes for at least 2 cells, that would make this a candidate for a black cell. And it doesn't have one, so that means this can't be the black circle pattern. So this can't continue straight. So anytime we can just scan around for any of these long segments and then a turn, because then after the turn it's got to be a short segment. Anytime we do that. Here's another one right there. We knew this was going to turn anyway, but that's just a reinforcement that that couldn't, that this couldn't go straight even if these weren't here. And okay, so this one we know has to turn that way. If this were to go, this can't go any further because we've got this long stretch, and then this one can't grow any further. So this is going to go west and south. This will go west. We don't want these to link up, so this goes west. We want to go straight through this white circle. That was probably already there. And here we have to turn. If we turn north, we will close this part of the loop early. So we turn south. Here we've got a long stretch and a turn, so this can't also be long. So we've got a turn and then turn again and go straight through the white circle. This has got to continue. This could turn either way and be legal at the moment. So that's not going to help us. Here, there's probably a connectivity thing we need to care about. Where if, yeah, okay, so let's look at this region down here. If this turns to the right, then the only entrance and exit from this region here would be through this wall. And there are 2 endpoints, and they would both need to sneak through that wall. This has got the property of loop puzzles where if we take any arbitrary region of cells, we know the loop enters and exits that region an even number of times. So if it doesn't happen here, it can't happen here either, or we'd have an odd number of times. And the loop is in here, so we need that number to be 2 or a higher even number. So this must be a turn. That forces this turn to go to the right and can't go any further, so it's got to go up. This can't go to the right because then it gets stranded in this little pocket. So it goes left, can't keep going or it would be in a dead end, so it goes north. This can't go south or it gets trapped, so it goes west. And now here we've got to turn because we just went through a white circle. We can't turn east because we'll get trapped. And we can't go north because of our negative constraint here. So this has got to go west and then up and east and then up to link up. I don't love that color, so I am just going to, for fun, change those colors up. And then we're going to look at this area up here is looking clearer to me now than it was. I don't know if that's because anything's changed necessarily. I'm just seeing it better. If this turns to the right, we end up with a dead end for the light blue line here. So this turns left. This must go south. And then it meets up, and we've got one big loop here. So clearly this doesn't turn right because there's nothing to link up with there. It goes west, and then it must turn north to meet up with the rest of the line. We have finished our loop. Let's double check that we don't have any turns that have long segments on both arms of it. And this isn't one that would check it automatically since it is a variant, so we have to click the button that says check base type to verify that we've done the Masyu part right and we've checked the other part by ourselves, so we can say that that is how you solve a Masyu.